The curses haunting two victims live reveal secrets even the spirit can't forget. The storm hit Willow Creek like a freight train. Rain pelted the old clapboard houses, and wind howled like a restless ghost. But for Sarah, it was just another Tuesday evening, in a town where shadows never truly left. She pulled her rain-soaked coat tighter around her and raced toward her grandmother's cottage, a small crumbling building perched on the cliffs. This was where it all began, the mysteries of her family's past just waiting to be uncovered. Lightning cracked, illuminating the eerie landscape around her. As she stumbled into the cottage, Sarah gasped. The storm had dislodged an old trunk in the corner, its lid ajar as if inviting her in. Curiosity gnawed at her. She knelt beside it, wary yet drawn. Inside, dust motes danced in the dim light, unearthing forgotten relics of a life once lived. Brittle photographs, yellowed letters, and one singular journal that caught her eye. A chill coursed through her, but the thrill of potential discovery overrode her fear. Willow Creek held dark secrets, and her family's legacy intertwined with them like vines on an ancient oak. Her heart raced as she turned page after page, each entry revealing shadowy figures and ghostly whispers that haunted their lineage. Tales of tragic deaths, missing persons, and inexplicable events littered their history. Midnight warnings her grandmother had written. Echoes of the past still reverberated through their bloodline, clawing at Sarah's very soul. The wind howled again, almost as if it wished to drown out the revelations. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from outside. Sarah bolted to the window. Waves crashed violently against the cliffs, each one a tumultuous reminder of nature's wrath. And then, in the thrumming silence that followed, her phone chimed. An unknown message lit up the screen. "Leave this place before it's too late." The words sent a quiver through her. Echo. Swallowing hard, Sarah gathered her courage and turned back to the journal. With each word she read, the burden of her family's sins weighed heavier on her chest. They weren't just stories. They were chains that bound her to this cursed land. She stepped outside, heart pounding. The wind screamed, pulling at her hair and clothes, beckoning her toward the cliff's edge. Waves crashed below, a chaos of white foam and darkness. Standing there, she felt the pulse of past generations. Secrets clawed at her. Could she break the curse? Or was she destined to join the echoes of lost souls haunting Willow Creek? As she peered over the edge, she heard it. A voice, soft yet unmistakably not her own. "Leave this place before it's too late." Goosebumps prickled her skin. Who or what was truly trying to warn her? Hey, before we continue with this incredible story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube has removed their subscriptions without words. Just take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss out on any exclusive content coming your way. And while you're there, leave that powerful like that helps me a lot with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know all the amazing people who are part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. As the voice echoed in the tumultuous winds, Sarah stumbled back, heart racing. Who was speaking? Was it her imagination playing tricks in the storm? The shadows around her seemed to shift, bending and twisting as if alive with secrets. She squinted into the darkness, trying to find the source of the warning. An icy shiver ran down her spine. "Leave this place before it's too late." The voice was clearer now. It wasn't just a whisper. It felt urgent, desperate. And then she saw him, a figure materializing from her breath caught. Daniel, her brother, lost 2 years ago to the very waves that crashed below, stood before her. Glistening raindrops clung to his hair, but his expression was one of startling clarity amid the chaos. "Sarah, you need to go. This is where it ends for us." She blinked, disbelief flooding her. "But I'm not dead, Sarah. Not exactly." His voice trembled as he stepped closer. the tumultuous wind swirling around him like a breath stolen by the storm. "I'm trapped here." Trapped? The storm grew louder, crashing waves meeting her frayed nerves. "What do you mean? How can you be here?" His eyes, once vibrant, were now clouded with sadness. "I don't have time to explain everything. The curse, it's real. It's been binding us all along. I can feel it." He reached for her, but his hand slipped through the space between them like mist. "No!" she cried, fighting against an invisible barrier. "I won't let you go again. Sarah." His voice broke, filled with a pain that cut deeper than the wind itself. "You need to understand. The curse isn't just a family tale. It's a living thing. It thrives on despair, and it wants you." In that moment, Sarah realized why she had felt watched. The house wasn't merely a vessel for old secrets. It was entombed with them. The storm seemed to pulse with energy, a heartbeat echoing her own fear. But how? How can I break it? Daniel's features shifted, a sharp intensity burning in his eyes. "You need to confront the truth. Your grandmother hid something that connects you to all of this." Her heart pounded against her chest. "What truth?" "Look in the trunk. Sarah, the final piece is there." Before she could respond, a deafening choir of thrashing winds drowned out her breath. The ground beneath her feet rumbled, a surge of power so strong she stumbled backward. Daniel's figure flickered with the force of the storm, the light of his presence dimming. "The truth, it could destroy you," he yelled as he began to dissolve into the shadows. "No, Daniel!" But he was gone, leaving only the sound of crashing waves and the pounding rain. Despair washed over her. What had her brother meant? Her mind raced, darting back to the trunk, the journal, the photographs. What secrets lay hidden beneath? With renewed determination, Sarah dashed back inside, her heart racing. Each raindrop that splattered against the windows felt like a countdown. She rifled through the trunk, desperate to find the final piece. There, amid the tattered letters, she discovered a small, ornate locket. It gleamed like a lonely star in the storm's grasp. She opened it, but what she found inside made her blood run cold. A photograph of her grandmother, young and alive, but next to her was a man she had never seen before. His eyes mirrored Daniel's, the same haunting familiarity, yet filled with something darker. As realization hit, the house shuddered, a low growl of rage from the storm. The curse was not just on her family. It ran deeper and darker than she could have ever imagined. And then it struck her. The truth wasn't just about Daniel. It was about her. What if she was the key to the curse lingering over Willow Creek? A sudden crash reverberated through the cottage. The walls trembled. The night felt alive with fury. "Sarah!" The voice croaked with urgency from somewhere deep within her mind. Her grandmother's voice, warning her again. "You are not safe. You can't escape." The air grew thick, a suffocating dread wrapping around her. What had she uncovered? What was her role in this family legacy? In that moment, she realized she had awakened something darker than she had ever anticipated, and she was only just beginning to uncover the truth. The house shuddered, as if it were alive. Cracks splintered the walls, and the air pulsed with the weight of her family's secrets. Sarah clutched the locket tightly. A cold sweat prickled her skin, her pulse racing. The storm outside raged on, echoing her growing fear. She needed answers. "Your grandmother, she has the key," came the echo of Daniel's warning. Were those just words? Or was it something more? She flipped through the journal, her fingers trembling. Flickering candlelight threw shadows around the room. The photos lay scattered, fragmented memories staring back at her. Each image felt charged, as if they could come to life at any moment. Then the floor creaked dangerously. A loud rumble vibrated through the house. Sarah's heart plummeted. What was happening? An ominous voice, more visceral than before, erupted in a jagged shout. "Sacrifice!" Sarah froze, breath caught in her throat. The shadows twisted and darkened, circling around her like a predator. "What? What do you mean?" she whispered, gripped by mounting dread. The locket slipped from her fingers, landing on the floor with a hollow thud. Suddenly it pulsed with a bright, silvery light. The illumination pushed back the darkness, revealing figures in the corners, trapped in the past. Their faces twisted in agony, mouths open wide as if crying out for help. "Leave before it consumes you!" they shrieked, the words mixed with the storm, swirling in an unholy chant that wrapped around her like a vice. In that heartbeat, she realized they knew her. The figures looked familiar, like shades of her lost family, trapped in their pain. "Are you all my ancestors? Stop the cycle!" one cried, agony etched on her face. But her resolve hardened. Sarah wasn't afraid. "No, I need to know. What am I supposed to do?" Suddenly, the floor shattered beneath her feet. Wood splintered and cracked. She fell through the gaping hole into a black void. Darkness swallowed her, dragging her away from the storm, from the cottage, from everything she knew. Then she landed, hard, on solid ground. The air was different here, thick and charged with tension. It smelled of salt and rot. She pushed herself up and scanned the wet, ghostly landscape around her. Her heart dropped. The scene expanded before her. She was standing on the same cliffs, but they looked different, older. She felt a strange pull, like gravity, but deeper. In the distance, a figure approached, shrouded in mist. "Sarah," a voice called. She blinked, recognizing the man from the locket. His eyes, piercing but familiar, drew her nearer. "You found it," he said, his tone a mixture of relief and dread. "You've awakened what was sleeping." "Who are you?" she stammered, backing up, fear surging through her. "I am your father," he answered, and his statement felt like a hammer striking her heart. Confusion collided with disbelief. How could this be? No, her father was dead, drowned with Daniel. A surge of rage bubbled up. You can't be. They said you were gone." "I was," he replied, stepping closer, the mist swirling around him. "But I am still tied to this land. You must understand. The curse, it demands a toll. Your existence is the price for our freedom." "No," she shouted, voice echoing against the cliffs. It made no sense. The truth felt slippery, like trying to grasp smoke. "But to break it, Sarah, you must confront it all. Every secret your grandmother buried. You're the last, the only one who can sever the bond." As he spoke, the cliff trembled, the mist thickening, threatening to pull her into its grasp. "What do you want from me?" Panic rose again. He reached out as if to grasp her hand, but she recoiled. "You've been deceived, just as I was. This is a choice you must make." Sarah's mind whirled. "What choice? I don't even know who you are." The storm raged once more, howling fiercely around them. His expression turned grave. "Every family has its ghosts. Yours are growing restless. Will you join them, or will you fight for the truth?" As his words sank in, the cliff shook violently. An echo of anguish filled the air. It was Daniel's voice, pulling her back, pleading. Sarah felt the weight of generations pressing down, and within her stirrings of courage ignited. "Sarah, you need to choose now. What will happen if I do?" "Everything," he said, and as he spoke, shadows loomed, the sky darkening above. The wind howled, desperation clawing at her chest. "You've awakened the storm, and it's hungry," her father warned, as the cliffs began to split apart. In that moment, Sarah realized this was just the beginning. She stood on the brink of a choice that could shatter everything. Swallowing hard, she took a step forward, aware only of one truth. The curse was alive, and it was demanding her decision now. As the cliff shook violently beneath her feet, Sarah felt her heart race, a frantic drumbeat against the rising chaos. Her father's words echoed ominously in her mind. "You've awakened what was sleepin'." The shadows twisted, shadows of the past, gripping her tightly. "Make your choice," he urged, his tone torn between desperation and authority. But before she could answer, the air shuddered. A dark wave filled with a hiss rippled across the landscape. She felt a presence, a force not entirely natural, grueling and palpable. The ground could erupt at any moment. "Dad, what do I need to do?" she shouted, but the words scattered into the wind. Suddenly, something shifted behind him. The mist thickened, and the shadowy figures emerged, swirling around her father. They reached out, hands stretching towards Sarah, with anguish etched into their faces. It was as if they weighed heavy with secrets, desperate to tell their stories. Stop this. What's happening?" Panic surged through her gut. Then, just like that, her father began to fade, his outline shimmering into fragments. "The truth is more complex than you know, Sarah. It's not just about breaking the curse. It's about understanding it." "Understanding what?" she shouted, horrified, and then she saw it. A flash of light erupted from the locket, illuminating the dark air around them. The silhouettes turned into a swirling mass of memories. People she recognized, her grandmother, her family, caught in the storm of their histories. But something else emerged, something far more troubling. A figure that looked shockingly like her, yet twisted into something grotesque and dark, clawing to break free. It mirrored her every move, smile ugly in its mockery. A chilling realization drifted over her, like ice on her skin. "No, no." Sarah stumbled back, disbelieving. "That's not me. It is you." Her father's voice cut through, strained and pained. "It's the darkness inside. The curse feeds on your despair. You have to accept it, to defeat it." The echo of his words clashed with the roar of the waves crashing below. "But how? How can I accept something that horrifies me? Face it, you are tied to this through blood, through choices. See the truth, see the darkness." His voice became more urgent, swallowed by the storm. Trembling, she approached the spectral mirror, heart pounding like thunder in her chest. With every step toward the dark figure, the weight of her family's legacy bore down. The dark figure grinned, sinister and knowing. "You know why you're here, don't you? You're not just a victim. You're the source. The curse exists with you because of what you've done, the choices you'll need to make." Sarah recoiled, nausea washing over her. A wave of memories crashing just beneath the surface. The things she tried to forget. Names lost to the tides of generational sorrow. "I don't want this," she gasped, tears brimming. "I didn't ask for any of this." "Then free yourself," the figure hissed, reaching out with arms that were both her own and not. "Embrace your family's past. Only then will you have the power to change it." Suddenly, a chill swept through the air, a storm that eclipsed everything. The world flipped as depths of shadows poured in, a scream that echoed through time. "Sarah!" The voice was grave and echoed through her like the bitter cold of betrayal. She turned to see Daniel standing amongst the chaos, but this time it wasn't just urgency in his eyes, but accusation. "You did this. You didn't just lose me. You lost us all." In that breath, the truth struck her like a bolt of lightning. Her decisions, her guilt, her fears had all chained her family to the abyss. The tears fell freely now, the storm around them shaking her resolve. But before she could utter a reply, the cliff began to crumble, massive cracks splintering through the foundation. "Make your choice now." Daniel's voice mingled with the shadowy echoes, desperate and haunting. With the storm raging, the finality of her decisions weighed heavily on her heart. Just then, it pulsed brighter and brighter until everything went dark. She felt herself falling into an abyss. A chilling silence wrapped around her like a shroud. Where was she? And then the voice came again, clearer now, a haunting whisper in the engulfing void. Choose wisely, Sarah. Who do you truly want to be? In that moment, she realized the truth. The burden of her lineage was only the beginning. What she would become could decide the fate of her family and perhaps her own redemption. Yet the very last reflection of her own dark self stayed stubbornly in her mind, piercing deeper than any other revelation. Who was she really? Sarah floated in the dark, caught between worlds. The weight of her father's voice enveloped her, echoing around her like the pulse of a distant storm, urging her to confront her own darkness. Who are you truly? He had asked. And with that question, layers of pain twisted deep within her. Face it. It's not just a choice. It's your legacy, he had said. What did it all mean? In that moment, a bright flash jolted through her. Light exploded across the abyss, blinding her with intensity. She squinted, shielding her eyes. Then the dark figure, her shadow, reached toward her, its hand closing around something she couldn't see but felt deep in her gut. No! Panic surged. Stay away from me! But it only smirked. A perfect imitation of her, but twisted into something cruel. You think you can run from yourself? You're the architect of your own despair. The words pierced her, deep and aching. Let me go! She cried out, desperation strangling her voice. The energy around her grew chaotic, like a raging fire consuming everything in its path. The landscape began to dissolve, swirling into a vortex of black and white. Just as suddenly, she was thrust back into reality. She landed hard, gasping for air. She blinked and found herself back at the cliff's edge, the storm still howling, but something felt different. A dark shadow stretched across the ground, creeping toward her like a coiled serpent. Sarah, are you ready? The words were Daniel's, both a call and a warning. And then everything shifted. A figure emerged from the shadows behind Daniel, a woman cloaked in darkness, features shifting like smoke. Sarah squinted, trying to put the pieces together. Who are you? She demanded, heart racing. The woman stepped into the light. A gasp escaped Sarah's lips as recognition tore through her. It can't be. It was her mother, the one believed lost forever. Black hair cascaded like a storm cloud around her face, eyes reflecting sorrow and fury. I never wanted you to find this place. You're alive. Hope bubbled within her but quickly morphed into confusion. Why didn't you come back? I was trying to protect you, she snapped, her voice a growing tempest. You're linked to this cursed legacy in ways you can't understand. Daniel's expression shifted. A mix of anger and betrayal. You should have told her the truth, he shouted. The truth? Her mother shot back, stepping closer. And what truth would that be, Daniel? That she's a part of this? That she's the one who would bring everything crashing down? Sarah felt the world spin. The air thickened with tension. What are you talking about? What am I part of? A silence hung heavy, broken only by the crashing waves. The woman's eyes hardened. It's your blood that holds the curse. You're the key to releasing it, but you must decide if you're ready to face the consequences. Sarah stumbled back, feeling the ground shift beneath her. What consequences? What does that even mean? Daniel stepped forward, his expression revealing a turmoil of shock and hurt. No, don't listen to her. You can't trust her. Then who do I trust, Daniel? Sarah cried, desperation clawing at her chest. You're not the one I thought you were, either. Enough, her mother erupted, the sound shattering the storm. You have the power to end this curse, but you must accept what you are, what we are. Her voice faded into a whisper. You are tied to the darkness. The realization struck Sarah like a dagger. Everything she had fought against, every truth she had sought, reflected back at her in raw agony. The storm intensified, howling louder than ever. Leave now, Sarah, E4. Daniel's warning was cut off as a pulse of energy erupted between them, an explosion of light and darkness colliding in a merciless wave. Sarah was thrown to the ground, the light enveloping her. A blinding flash erupted from the depths of her soul, and for one heart-stopping moment, she felt it all converge. She gasped, eyes wide as images flooded her mind. Memories long buried, unspeakable acts, and bloodlines intertwined in pain. And then, it hit her, the twist that turned her world upside down. In that blinding light, she witnessed the truth of her bloodline, a history so filled with darkness. It meant not only the curse was innate, but at its core, she was a vessel, not just for the curse, but for something far more sinister. Screams erupted in the distance, and Sarah clutched her head. No, as the light dimmed, the shadows converged, and in the silence that followed, the weight of succession hung in the air. Sarah, her mother's voice was softer now, yet filled. The curse was hers to command. But did that mean she would become the very thing she feared most? The air crackled with tension, shadows swirling around Sarah like a tempest. Her mother's words sliced through her disbelief, leaving confusion and desperation in their wake. "You're tied to the darkness," she had said. But what did that really mean? "Stop," Sarah shouted, her heart pounding. "You can't expect me to just accept this." The wind howled in response, a fierce reminder of the storm brewing outside. The ground trembled beneath her, like the world itself was echoing her inner turmoil. Daniel shifted, anxiety etching lines on his face. "This isn't just about breaking a curse, Sarah. It's about choosing who you want to be." The shadows loomed closer, hungry and restless, but Sarah couldn't peel her eyes away from her mother. "What do you mean? You just left. You abandoned me." But her mother's gaze was unfaltering. "I had to protect you from what I became." Before Sarah could respond, a deafening crack echoed through the air, shaking the very core of the cliff. The storm surged in a furious attempt to drown out their voices, and just as she opened her mouth to protest, a blinding flash illuminated the sky. "Sarah!" Daniel grabbed her arm, pulling her back. "We have to move." But before they could escape, the entire cliffside split apart with a thunderous roar, a chasm opening up beneath their feet. In that moment of chaos, a figure emerged from the swirling storm. A tall woman with wild hair, eyes like burning coals, stepped through the chaos as if it was nothing. The air froze, and a collective gasp echoed from every corner of her mind. "Mom?" Sarah's voice barely rose above the tempest. "No." Her mother howled, a mix of anguish and rage. "You mustn't let her near." But it was too late. The figure lifted her hand, and a pulse of dark energy radiated outwards, intertwining with the gusts of wind. Sarah felt it curling around her throat, squeezing as it came closer. "Finally, you've come," the woman said, her voice velvety smooth, almost mocking. "I've waited through generations, and now here you are." "Who are you?" Sarah's heart raced. "What do you want?" She staggered back, caught between her mother and this specter that felt strangely familiar, yet terrifying. A dark smile spread across the woman's face, revealing sharp teeth. "Why, I want what's mine, dear. The legacy you've been holding back. You're not just a part of this family. You are the final piece in the game." The ground shook violently, and a crack opened beneath her. In that moment, Sarah felt her past unfurl like ribbons of fate around her. The laughter of her ancestors echoed, but it was tinged with sorrow. There it was again, that familiar voice from the shadows that had haunted her since she arrived. "Sarah." Daniel's voice broke through the chaos, but it was too late. Everything went dark again. She was thrust into a vision where the past collided with the present. Screams echoed, and she saw herself in chains, shackled to the very essence of the curse her family bore. "No!" But the shadow figure deepened, the image of pain solidifying. "Embrace your true lineage," the figure whispered. a dark caress that filled her with dread. This is your heritage. You cannot run away. Suddenly, realization crashed down upon her like a tidal wave. I'm not just the key. I'm the curse, she gasped. Horror filled her. Could it be? She turned, searching for her mother's face, but it was twisted in agony. You were meant to protect me. I tried, her mother whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. But I couldn't fight her. I thought if I hid, I could spare you. Spare me what? Sarah felt shattered, pieces of herself swirling into madness. What do you know? The woman's laughter echoed around them, and with a flick of her wrist, the darkness around Sarah consumed her, dragging her deeper into her family's sins. Then, in a final act of defiance, she screamed, "Let me go!" The shadows recoiled, as if stung by her strength. For an instant, the light flickered, but before she could escape, the ground crumbled beneath Daniel's feet, his face pale, eyes wide with horror. "Sarah!" he shouted, and in the chaos that followed, everything imploded around them. With a jarring thud, Sarah landed back on solid ground, only this time, everything felt wrong. The landscape had changed, the storm was gone, replaced by a tranquil sea, and before her stood a mansion, grand but ominous, as if it had been waiting for her all along. "Where am I?" she whispered, dread mingling with disbelief. The woman appeared behind her, a victorious smirk plastered across her face. "Welcome home, Sarah. Your true adventure is only beginning. Time to claim what is rightfully yours." All illusions shattered in that moment, relationships redefined and secrets exposed. Sarah's heart raced with fear and anticipation. What power did she possess? What destiny awaited her? The storm had passed, but darker clouds gathered on the horizon, and as she took her first step toward the mansion, the weight of her lineage bore heavily upon her. Would she embrace the curse or fight against the chains her family had forged? Choices hovered before her like a growing shadow, and she was left standing on the precipice of discovery, the air still thick with unspoken truths. The mansion loomed ahead, its dark windows like empty eyes, watching her approach. Sarah stepped cautiously onto the creaking porch, feeling its age and the weight of secrets trapped inside. The air was thick. Every breath felt like a challenge, tinged with anticipation. She pushed the heavy door open, the hinges groaning in protest. Inside, the darkness wrapped around her. Dust motes floated in the faint light that streamed through cobwebbed windows. Her heart raced as each echo of her footsteps echoed down the long hallway. Memories of her past swirled in the shadows, too close for comfort. What awaited her in this strange place? Embrace it, the we. Her mother's words from earlier played on repeat in her mind. Sarah felt drowned in confusion and doubt. As she wandered deeper into the mansion, distant whispers seemed to beckon her forward. She stopped, straining to catch the words. They sounded familiar, almost like voices from her childhood. Names stirred memories hidden beneath the surface. Her grandmother's warnings echoed, a chilling breeze washing over her. The curse binds our blood. Suddenly, a thundering crash broke the silence, rattling the walls. A door slammed shut behind her, the sound startling her into action. Panic surged. "Daniel!" she called out, her voice trembling. No answer. Taking a deep breath, she pushed through an archway, stepping into what appeared to be a library. Shelves lined the walls, packed with dusty tomes and fragile memories. She recognized the titles, stories she'd been told as a child. She could practically see her grandmother sitting there, eyes twinkling as the tales poured forth. Would her mother be here too? But there was something else in the room. A flicker of movement caught her eye. It was a shadow darting between the books. Heart pounding, she approached the thick oak table at the center. There lay a collection of photographs, her family, their faces frozen in time. And at the end of the table, a large ornate box caught her attention. She felt it, a pull, like a thread tugging at her heart. As she reached for it, a rush of fear coursed through her veins. What if it was something better left untouched? But a sense of urgency pushed her forward. She lifted the lid. Inside lay a strange artifact, a shimmering medallion. Her fingers brushed over it, sending a shock of energy coursing through her. Images flooded her mind, flashes of her family entwined in darkness. A woman's face appeared. It was her own reflection, twisted and malevolent. Sarah. The whisper came again, clear and haunting. She gasped, the weight of realization crashing over her. No, it can't be. Your true legacy is darker than you know. Sent shivers down her spine. You have the power to reshape history. Just then the door flew open again, and Daniel stumbled into the room, breathless, eyes wild. I tried to warn you. We need to go. But I found something, she gasped, the weight of the medallion heavy in her hand. I think I can break the curse. He looked pale, horror etched on his face. No, you don't understand. You can't. It will consume you. But before she could respond, the room began to swirl, shadows erupting from the corners, wrapping around her like chains. Leave now, Sarah. You're awakening it. And then, in a blinding flash, the medallion erupted with light. A chilling scream filled the air. It was then Sarah felt her breath hitch as memories of betrayal pierced through the chaos. The truth washed over her like ice water. Daniel. What are you not telling me? But his expression twisted. You don't understand. I'm not who you think I am, he stammered, his voice trembling with urgency. The shadows surged forward, and everything went white. Just as she thought she'd fall into the abyss, an unfamiliar voice thundered through her mind with clarity. Your choices have caught up to you. You are stronger than you know. As the light dimmed, Sarah stood alone. On her wrist, the medallion glimmered ominously, reflecting a darker truth. Clarity pierced through the moments of chaos. Daniel, she cried, searching frantically for him. What do you mean? The world cracked open again, revealing a past sprung anew. She thought she lost him, but something felt irrevocably altered. Who was Daniel really? The shadows, dark and swirling, threatened to reclaim her. Sarah, came a voice, husky and intimate, a stark shift. She turned, and there stood her father, eyes blazing with a furious mix of emotions. You must choose. Do you stand with your blood, or turn against it? The ground trembled beneath them, and for the first time, she felt as if the curse was less something that haunted her, and more a living part of herself. The medallion pulsed with life, promising power and chaos. In that moment, everything lurched and shifted. Questions piled up, mingling with fear. Who was she in this tangled web that sprawled before her? What had she found? Standing on the edge of revelation, Sarah felt the energy crackle like electricity. And she knew one thing for sure. Whatever happened next would change everything forever. The line had been crossed. The question now wasn't just about the curse. It was about loyalties, identity, and the very essence of their blood. The mansion loomed ahead, its dark windows like empty eyes watching her approach. Sarah stepped cautiously onto the creaking porch, feeling its age and the weight of secrets trapped inside. The air was thick. Every breath felt like a challenge, tinged with anticipation. She pushed the heavy door open, the hinges groaning in protest. Inside, the darkness wrapped around her. Dust motes floated in the faint light that streamed through cobwebbed. Her heart raced as each echo of her footsteps reverberated down the long hallway. Memories of her past swirled in the shadows, too close for comfort. What awaited her in this strange place? Embrace it, the woman had said. But what did that mean? What power was hers for the taking? Her mother's words from earlier played on repeat in her mind. Sarah felt drowned in confusion and doubt. As she wandered deeper into the mansion, distant whispers seemed to beckon her forward. She stopped, straining to catch the words. They sounded familiar, almost like voices from her childhood. Names stirred memories hidden beneath the surface. Her grandmother's warnings echoed, a chilling breeze washing over her. The curse binds our blood. Suddenly, a thundering crash broke the silence, rattling the walls. A door slammed shut behind her, the sound startling her into action. Panic surged. "Daniel?" she called out, her voice trembling. No answer. Taking a deep breath, she pushed through an archway, stepping into what appeared to be a library. Shelves lined the walls, packed with dusty tomes and fragile memories. She recognized the titles, stories she'd been told as a child. She could practically see her grandmother sitting there, eyes twinkling as the tales poured forth. Would her mother be here too? But there was something else in the room. A flicker of movement caught her eye. It was a shadow darting between the books. Heart pounding, she approached the thick oak table at the center. There lay a collection of photographs, her family, their faces frozen in time. And at the end of the table, a large, ornate box caught her attention. She felt it, a pull, like a thread tugging at her heart, and she reached for it. A rush of fear coursed through her veins. What if it was something better left untouched? But a sense of urgency pushed her forward. She lifted the lid. Inside lay a strange artifact, a shimmering medallion. Her fingers brushed over it, sending a shock of energy coursing through her. Images flooded her mind, flashes of her family entwined in darkness. A woman's face appeared. It was her own reflection twisted and malevolent. "Sarah." The whisper came again, clear and haunting. She gasped, the weight of realization crashing over her. "No, it can't be. Your true legacy is darker than you know." The voice, deeper now, sent shivers down her spine. "You have the power to reshape history." Just then, the door flew open again, and Daniel stumbled into the room, breathless, eyes wild. "I tried to warn you. We need to go." "But I found something," she gasped, the weight of the medallion heavy in her hand. "I think I can break the curse." He looked pale, horror etched on his face. "No, you don't understand. You can't. It will consume you." But before she could respond, the room began to swirl, shadows erupting from the corners, wrapping around her like chains. "Leave now, Sarah. You're awakening it." And then in a blinding flash, the medallion erupted with light. A chilling scream filled the air. It was then Sarah felt her breath hitch, as memories of betrayal pierced through the chaos. The truth washed over her like ice water. "Daniel, what are you not telling me?" But his expression twisted. "You don't understand. I'm not who you think I am." The shadows surged forward, ready to engulf them, but a booming voice echoed through the mansion, shaking everything to its core. Enough. It was the woman, the dark figure, standing behind Daniel. But something was different. She looked less like a spectral adversary, and more like a queen returning to her throne. The shadows bowed to her, retreating as if she commanded them. "Who are you?" Sarah breathed, feeling a chill run down her spine. "I am your true mother," she said, the words hitting Sarah like a punch to the gut. "No," Sarah gasped, stepping back. "That's impossible." "Look again," the woman urged, eyes burning with intensity. "You know it to be true. You were never meant to be just a pawn." Everything she thought she knew shattered in an instant. Sarah turned to Daniel, confusion swirling in her chest. "Is this true?" His face was pale. I didn't know," he stammered, reaching for her. "I swear, I thought thought you were what?" she shot back, betrayal slicing through her. "What am I?" The room pulsed with energy, and Sarah felt the weight of generations pressing upon her shoulders. As the truth settled in her mind, reality twisted again. Now it was not just a battle for her fate, but a war waged with bloodlines. The realization sunk deep. If this was true, everything would change. Relationships would unravel. Loyalties would bleed. "I am bound to this curse," the woman continued, voice steady. "And you, my daughter, you hold the key to either its empowerment or its undoing. You must decide where your loyalty lies." "No!" Sarah cried, You can't just leave me with this. But the shadows surged again, wrapping tighter around her, suffocating her resolve. She stood on the precipice of a choice that could alter everything. There was fear mixed with a strange spark of hope. As the walls of the mansion shook and the darkness whispered secrets, Sarah knew one thing for certain. She had to face the truth, whatever it held. The line had been crossed, but now she was entangled in a web far more complex than she had ever imagined. What now? The shadows warped and twisted, closing in like a dark curtain. Sarah's heart raced, pounding in sync with the chaotic energy swirling around her. Her mother's revelation hung heavy in the air, a truth so wild it felt unreal. "You are my true mother." Those words echoed in her mind, too surreal, too horrific to fully grasp. "Sarah, listen to me," her mother urged, stepping forward, eyes wide with urgency. "You can't trust them." "Who can I trust?" Sarah snapped, caught between Daniel and this woman she never truly knew. She was about to say more when the very walls of the mansion shuddered. "Come with me," Daniel shouted, grabbing Sarah's wrist, pulling her back. "You don't understand the risk." And then it happened. The ground beneath them quaked violently, shadows swirling into a storm of dread. The ornate furniture crashed to the ground. Dust rained down from the ceiling, swirling in the air like the memories clawing at her mind. "Sarah," the dark figure hissed, her voice dripping with urgency. "You were born to embrace this. Don't resist." In that explosion of chaos, something within Sarah snapped. "No, I won't let this consume me." The medallion around her neck pulsed warmly, a stark contrast to the cold terror wrapping around her heart. She held it tight, feeling its power surge through her body like fire. "Maybe you have the answers, but I'll find my own way." But just as she spoke those words, a piercing scream echoed around her, shattering the air like glass. The sound cut through the storm, drowning out the chaos and sending shivers down her spine. It was Daniel. "Sarah, get back," he shouted. But it was too late. A blinding light erupted from the medallion. The room illuminated, brighter than the sun, engulfing everything in its wake. Sarah squinted, shielding her eyes. All around, shadows writhed in agony. And then, silence. The world around her stopped. The shadows vanished, replaced by a heavy stillness. As the light faded, Sarah blinked against the remnants of brightness. When her vision cleared, she looked around, breathless. What she saw next made her heart drop. Daniel was gone. In his place stood the twisted, dark figure, smiling, eyes glinting with triumph. It was as if he was never there at all. "Do you see?" the figure said, her voice oozing satisfaction. "He was always a distraction, a pawn in this game." Sarah recoiled, her mind racing. "What did you do? Where is he?" "He's gone, sweetheart," the figure replied, a mocking lilt in her tone. "He was never truly here, just an echo of your longing for love and approval." Sarah felt the ground fall from beneath her. The edges of her vision darkened. "No, no, no, you're lying." "Am I?" The figure stepped closer, invading Sarah's space. "You've been seeking the truth, but the truth is this. Daniel was part of the curse. He was holding you back. Embrace what you truly are." A thunderous rage coursed through her veins. She felt betrayed, not just by the figure, but by the very fabric of her life. Had Daniel been merely a diversion? Had he played her this whole time? "Stop," Sarah shouted, desperation filling her voice. "You're wrong. I won't accept this." But with that declaration, the mansion around her began to shift. Walls blurred, colors melted into one another. Despair clawed at her heart. "You have power," the figure hissed, forcing Sarah to look into her own eyes, reflected in the darkness. "It is the curse, yes, but it can also be your strength. If you fight this power, it will destroy you. Accept it." Sarah trembled, emotions colliding within her. Could she truly hold the keys to her destiny? Was it even hers to claim? Just as the thought took root, a horrifying realization washed over her. Did the curse give her power, or was it pulling her further into darkness? Your choice awaits, Sarah, the figure whispered, voice curling around her like smoke. Will you join me in this darkness, or fight a battle that could destroy you? The mansion trembled again, louder and more violently this time. Shadows began to swirl, pulling at her, enticing and terrifying. Suddenly, her grandfather's photograph fell from the table, shattering the delicate balance of the moment. Wait, Sarah cried, reaching for it, but before her fingers could touch the frame, a pulse of energy exploded, sending her flying back. In that instant, she found herself alone on a cliff. The ocean roared below, waves crashing violently against the rocks. Her heart raced. She turned back, desperate to make sense of it all. Daniel, she whispered, fear gripping her throat. Was he really gone? The shadows had swallowed everything, radically transforming her world. And as her gaze shifted back to the dark figure, now standing at the edge of the cliff, a chilling thought settled in her gut. What if all along she had been the architect of her own misfortune? Choose wisely, dear daughter, the figure sang, energy crackling in the air. The storm is just beginning. The world spun wildly, leaving Sarah teetering on the brink of chaos, questioning everything she believed was real. What was fate's true hand in this game? And could she reclaim her destiny? Or was the darkness more entwined with her than she ever imagined? The cliff felt like it was crumbling beneath her as Sarah's heart raced. The dark figure, her mother, loomed closer, filled with an unsettling intensity. You have a choice, Sarah, she said, and the shadows danced around her, eager and restless. Take my hand. Embrace what you truly. How can I choose this? The pain of her past flashed before her, all the betrayal and loss. Daniel's absence felt like a wound in her chest, raw and aching. The figure smirked. You think you can escape? The darkness is part of you. You must decide. Your power can bring healing or destruction. This storm will only end when you accept it. Stop, Sarah shouted, shaking her head. I won't let the darkness define me. Her voice dripped with defiance. But uncertainty crept in with every breath. She felt the weight of her family's legacy pressing down, heavy, unyielding. Then face yourself, the figure hissed. You cannot run from what you are. Just then, the ground trembled violently again. It felt like an earthquake, rocking her to the core. She stumbled, clutching the medallion, its energy pulsing like a heartbeat in her palm. What do I have to lose? She thought. With her heart racing and fierce determination, she took a step back. The shadows shrieked, swirling furiously. Join us, they cried, desperate and accusing. But in that moment of chaos, something inside her shifted. Images crashed through her mind, each connected to the next. Her family laughing at summer picnics, her brother's smile before the waves took him, the warmth of her grandmother's embrace. No, she yelled, clarity surging. I refuse to be a prisoner of my past. An unexpected warmth flooded through her, strength rising to meet the darkness. The medallion glowed, casting a fierce light that pushed shadows away. Embrace your true self, her mother screamed, rage and desperation mixing in her voice. You cannot fight this. But Sarah felt different. No, I will fight for light, she declared, her words ringing like a bell. The shadows recoiled, their grip weakening. In that moment, she lunged forward, arms outstretched. You are not my mother. I am my own person. The light surged brighter, enveloping her. As if a dam broke, the shadows shrieked and began to dissipate, swirling into nothingness. The mansion shuddered, and with a final pulse of the medallion, the dark figure was thrown back. No, her mother's voice echoed, fading into the abyss as the darkness disintegrated. The storm outside calmed, the winds whispering soft lullabies, and the previous weight of her family's curse disappeared like fog lifting. Sarah stood alone, drenched but free. I did it, she breathed, panting, a mixture of disbelief and triumph coursing through her. For a moment, silence enveloped her. Then, amid the rubble, Daniel materialized, his face weary but alive. "Sarah," he breathed, rushing to her side. Relief washed over them both. "I thought I lost you," she cried, warmth flooding her chest as they hugged tightly. "It's over," he whispered, pulling back with hope glimmering in his eyes. "You broke it." As they stood together, a sense of new beginnings stretched before them. The past was still real, but now it was part of them, not their prison. "I couldn't have done it without you," Sarah said softly, glancing at the remnants of shadows now fading. "You faced not just the darkness, but your own fears," he replied, pride shining in his eyes. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of gold and amber, Sarah sighed. "This is just the start," she said, and a thrill of uncertainty wet her chest. And as they turned to leave the mansion behind, a fleeting shadow flickered in the periphery, whispering truths yet to be discovered. But wait, you must subscribe now to our channel. Don't miss the next exclusive stories coming your way. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to know about this ending. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait one more second to share.